Yeah. Wait, should we record this? Because I saw this on my feed and I was going to leave a comment and I saw your comment on it. And then I
Yeah.
didn't even end up leaving my comment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
Okay. When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing towards those big vision board business goals.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly, unfiltered podcast for online business owners. There were so many good ones, we always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy.
And I'm Madeline Daigan. And this is
hashtag
managed. I think it's perfect.
I like it. I like it.
Welcome back to Hashtag Managed. This is part 2 of why an audience isn't the same as a community.
Okay, should we dive into our topic for the week where we're talking about something that I think is, I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic, but controversial, or hot take. Your audience isn't the same as community. There's such a big difference between audience and community. So if you want, I was gonna start. Let me do like a little info. I love that we do this. Like, let me do a formal definition of each. So an audience is a group of people who consume your content. They watch, read, and like what you share. Very simple. A community, on the other hand, is a two-way street. It's where real conversations happen. Your community feels seen, valued, and connected, not just to you, but to each other. Building a community takes intention. It requires trust, consistent value, and creating spaces where people feel like they belong. I think we all, like, listening to this podcast, we know what an audience is and we know what a community is, but they're so different. And I really try to, like, catch myself when I'm talking to, like, either a lead or a client on their audience versus community, because in my head as a marketer, they're two completely different things. And one thing that I like to share is that by knowing your audience, that's how you can market to them. So an audience is who you're marketing to, but a community is who you're marketing for. And I hope that makes sense. A deeper kind of, like, value add to that as well is an audience is who you're marketing to. So they're going to consume your content. So you probably have heard of audience profiles, ideal client avatars. There's so many other terms. I should have, like, pulled out, like, the full I should have asked, like, ChatGPT to, like, compute this whole list for me, but I'm sure you guys have heard some sort of variation of those two words, or those two phrases. And so knowing who that audience is really important, because you've probably have heard, like, if you market to everyone, you market to no one. Which is so, so true. I think, and even as, like, a business owner, like, full transparency, like, I often think, um, like, about, like, who our audience is for the podcast, or who it is for Social Savvy, or who it is for our clients. And when I think about it for the podcast and for Social Savvy, I'm like, I want everyone. Like, I want everyone to listen. I want everyone to listen to Maddie and I every single week and to love the podcast and to love the content. But that's not how Maddie and I can show up every single week. We don't know how to talk to everyone. We're not creating a podcast for our, you know, our husbands who just listen to us, like, barking marketing and business and things all day at them. Like, we're not creating a podcast for them. We probably would have to make it some sort of, like, a sports podcast, so we'd really be screwed on the content. But we're talking to people who are like us. You're often your audience, or your ideal client avatar, ideal follower avatar, whatever term you're using, is often you at an earlier stage, which I think is really, really something to think about. Like, Most entrepreneurs start their business because they're solving a problem, or they have a solution, or they saw a gap and they have a service that can fill that gap. And typically they've been there themselves. They've gone through it. They've seen success, whether it be selling their product or service, and then they're doing their business. And so knowing that is knowing who your audience is and who you can market to. Would you add anything to that, Maddie, like about an audience?
No, I think that perfectly sums it up. And I think, yeah, no notes, no notes. But I did want to add too, and tell me if you would agree with this, because I also just real time added this to our notes. But like how you, when you're thinking about, so we just explained like the difference between the two. And I think it's important to note that how you market to your audience, in not even just market, grow. Ugh, dare I say
Yeah.
grow? Like
Yeah.
we hate, like ick. That's an icky word because you have those like growth experts or gurus, whatever.
Yeah.
But how you grow your audience and community are going to be different as well. Like you're going to have different tactics, you're going to have different strategies, just like we do with the podcast and even with the Facebook group. Like the podcast, Jessica could speak to this because this is your baby, but it's just like, I tell me if I'm wrong too, but it's like you started the podcast almost like to help grow like the Facebook group, or like it was almost
Yeah.
like another avenue to like again grow that community.
Yes.
The podcast was never to grow the audience, it was to grow the community.
Correct. Yes, correct. Yeah, because and I think to piggyback off of that, the podcast was created. And even now I think in this moment I think it is true too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was not created to bring millions and millions of listeners to the podcast and to like knowing who like hashtag managed is as a company and a brand. Now, granted, that would be awesome if that happens. I hope the millions of people that come are great, but it was a way to grow the community. So a Facebook group I think is already, it's a place where people can go. We've heard like so many testimonials over the past couple years. Like it's a great community. People feel safe and seen and heard, and so it's a micro community in my eyes. But it's not a full community because, like we said, a community is a two-way street. So in a group setting on Facebook, it's really just a lot of like people just posting and just seeing things, but adding a podcast element like an audio, or even like going like a video route of doing something,
Mm-hmm.
if you started a YouTube or like a TikTok channel or something, like just a way to connect with people back and forth. We have our hashtag hotline, people write in for water cooler, like it's a community. Like it's ping-ponging back and forth between like how people like are asking for advice or help, or even sharing their own advice and help. Like I learned lots of things in the group too, which I think makes it a community. Like we're all social media marketers just trying to survive. And that's where the two-way street like communication comes into play. So yeah, I would
And
definitely agree. You market completely different to like an audience or a community.
mm-hmm. And I actually love that we're talking about that, like how we are trying to grow audience and community, because I feel like that for you listeners, like is makes it easier to understand. And so I feel like another great example is like by when you brought me on as co-host, like we both knew that I would be bringing my own audience from the Buzzing Blonde to this community. So like
Mhm.
granted, I was bringing my audience with me to this new community, and like I would say like I can start to see that a lot of my Buzzing Blonde community is it's been a slow, I think it's been a slow
Mhm.
burn, not even slow bleed, I would say, like a slow bleed into the hashtag manage community and even the Facebook. Because
Yeah.
for those of you who like maybe this is your first episode you're listening to, but like I specialize in helping beauty professionals
Mhm.
um before coming on like joining the social savvy team, #managed. And so I've brought a lot of those beauty professionals with me, but they are beauty professionals who want to better understand marketing. So, you know,
Mhm.
while Jessica said, yeah, like we know that our audience, yes, is marketers and social media managers, entrepreneurs, but we also know our audience and our community also like to read. They
Mhm.
You're human. Like you have other interests. You have hobbies just like us, and I think that like
Yeah.
maybe this is me on my TED Talk on my soapbox today, but like we like you know the we're more we're more than just marketers. We're more than just social media managers. And
Yeah.
my hope is that, even with this podcast, like you feel that when you listen to us, where it's just like, oh,
Mhm.
this true, like, because at the end of the day, this is community, like for us.
Yeah.
But we
Agreed.
know we have this audience who, like, we know, like, we're getting people from one-offs, like you have to understand that you're going to grow your audience when people are sharing your content, because you're then exposed to their audience as well. And it's how many of those people in that audience can you take and bring with you to your community. Like I'm getting really excited that because we had our cycle syncing episode, and yes, I know, are you guys sick of me saying that yet? But
Mhm.
like we know that it's gonna be like a common topic, and I'm starting to see like more wellness people come into like onto
Mhm.
our Instagram, and I'm so excited. Like I want social media managers who are in the wellness industry.
Mhm.
And that's what gets me excited is I know that we have so many social media managers listening, but your guys' niche or community or audience is going to be different. It might be wellness, it might be the wedding industry, it might be authors, it may be B2B too. I know we need to have some more B2B episodes. Like we're working on those type of guests. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sorry. And
Yeah.
thank you for coming
No.
to my TED Talk.
No. No, I agree. I think that's like really powerful too in showing like in my like marketing brain and audience is like the demographics and like similar like
Hmm.
psychographics and all of that, but that bleeds into other people who fit within the community. Like Maddie said, there are people who like they want to know how to market their business. And that's what we're all like here for. We're all here to like collectively share what's working, what's not. Like here's a good idea for this
Hmm.
industry, and I think it's so powerful, and that's where I feel like kind of our success for Social Savvy and our clients comes from is that we do work with different industries. And so, like, sometimes an idea doesn't work in one, but it works in another. Or it's like, wait a minute, this is a good idea. How can we replicate that? Because from industry to industry, you can't copy and paste. Like you
Right.
can't. And how boring is it if you're looking at, which I know you're probably thinking, oh, my clients do this. They're looking at their competitors and they're like, oh, I want to be just like them. I want to have a website like them. I want to have social media like them. And you're like, wait a minute, though, you all have the same audience. Like, you can't have the same because they're going to go to whoever does not have the same. So, thinking about how to like differentiate yourself is super important. I thought of like a really good example. And if I can think of more as we're like, on this episode, I wanted to share. But we used to work with a client who sold a product, and the product's audience was geared towards moms. Um,
Hmm.
and so that was the audience, like through and through, was moms wanting to buy this product for their kids. And so there, of course, are like the demographics of where those moms lived and like what they were going through, what they bought before, what they're tired of dealing with. That's the audience. Now, the community aspect is the bridge between them being these moms and dealing with this, and the founder of the company being a mom and having kids of her own. And I mean, that's her story. Again, we talked about founder story, so important. I think it plays into the community aspect. She is also a mom. And so one thing that I think is super important is to step into your story. Like own your story. Like own it. It is what makes you unique. Don't feel like you need to dim your story or keep parts out that are like not pretty or sexy. Like share it all. Like one thing that was really powerful was sharing personal content from her. And so one idea that I had was to pitch a newsletter that came straight from her inbox. Okay, not unknown, not uncommon from a CEO or a founder, like most big companies are doing it, but getting very go beyond the product, go beyond what's being sold to this community. Because here's the thing, they're going to buy the product if they see the need, but they're going to be loyal customers of the product if they feel like seen, heard, and connected with. And so if you can share in a newsletter, and I think you could do it in a newsletter, you could do it in, if you really had the resources, or if your client did, you could do it in a podcast. You could do it in like a broadcast channel on Instagram. Like there's so many more opportunities you could share it, but share what's really going on. Like you can share like real life stories as a mom or your kids, or like something funny that happened or something not so funny that happened. Like also sharing, again, like Maddie said, we're all human, like we all connect as humans. Like those moms want to be influenced. Like where is this mom? Where is she shopping? Where
Yep.
where is she shopping? Even if it's something that they can't afford, I mean, come on, we follow influencers all the time that we can't afford the stuff that they're pushing in their links. But I want to know what shoes she's wearing, what perfume is she wearing? What is she eating? What are her favorite restaurants? Like, what is she reading? Like, tell me more, about what's going on in that aspect. And that's what really builds the community. Again, you don't have to do like, Coco Kind did a community trip. If your client doesn't have the budget, marketing budget, which is a common theme here. We talk about how most clients we work with don't have a huge digital marketing budget, so they probably don't have a huge like influencer trip for a budget. But you can think outside of the box. There are so many opportunities to like small scale like community building.
Oh, I love everything you just said, because piggybacking off of the Coco Kind, I actually love that you brought that up in what's on your feed,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I would love to, see their numbers like after all of this, and just like, again, where
Yeah.
it's like sometimes I'm just like, I just want to be besties with their marketing team and be like, to geek out, like to again have them on the podcast, be like, oh my gosh, tell us
Yeah.
more. And that is, but I'd be curious, where because they're inviting their community, I feel like their audience is going to grow even more. Like it's going to become bigger, which then
Yeah.
leads to an even bigger community. And not just that, but like more engagement, because it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be genuine engagement.
Yeah.
Genuine.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I was just talking to someone the other day on a consulting call, and we were talking about how they felt like they have been marketing their business for so long, but they don't have the engagement that they should have on social media. And I'm like, you know what? That is a valid statement. Like
Mhm.
there
Mhm.
is something to be said. Again, we talk about people wanting more and more and more, but if you're looking at it and you're like, I have poured so much time and energy and resources into this channel, something has got to give. I feel like I don't have, they're like, I feel like I have no one. They're like, I feel like I have crickets. And so I had to do like a quick, really like respectful reality check. I'm like, look, there is a portion of people's audiences that are quiet.
Mhm.
Like they're quiet, they're silent. Like, and I said myself, I would consider myself a quieter consumer. Like, I get it. I'm a
Mm.
marketer. I understand the importance of engagement, but I'm on my phone and computer all day long. And so when I'm scrolling and I see my
So
favorite
true. So
brand or
true.
creator or friend or family member post something, I I want to comment. I do. I'm tapped at my screen time right now. And so maybe I reply in my head. Maybe I send them a message. If it's family, friends, I'm
Yes.
probably just messaging them directly. But you have silent audience members. Now, the bridge is how do they become community members to where they're vocal? Because community members are they're fans. Like they're fans of yours. They want to be a part of it. Like they want to consume the content. They want to know what they're doing. But it comes at different levels that they come at. So my biggest piece of advice to her was to figure out how can she build her community. So I will say it was a difficult conversation to have because she works with higher end clients. Like she offers a service, a design service. It's very expensive. So her clientele is higher end. But I'm like, all you have to do is think about what do they want? What do they want beyond what you're designing? Like, what do they want in life? Like, how can they feel like seen and heard and connected? Like, are they like you? Do they have families? Do they not have families? Like, obviously, they live in a similar geographic location, so that plays into it. But, like, what are they doing? Like, where are they going to eat? Where are they going for drinks? Like, where are they going on vacations? Like, there's just so many things to think about. Um, and this is one thing that I actually like using ChatGPT for.
Mm.
Like, help me figure out more. And sometimes ChatGPT doesn't know everything and doesn't know like the like nitty-gritty things, but sometimes they can help me think about like, oh wait, hold on. Like I can see a pattern. Like I can see what this audience wants. Like and then, I feel like if I learn more and understand something more, I can market it better, regardless of what it is. Like if I, for example, our client, like Maddie and I aren't moms yet, so we're not marketing from that perspective of we are moms, we feel these pains and struggles, but like we can put ourselves in those shoes because we have friends who are moms, we have family like cousins like who are moms, and so we relate to them. And we hear from them what they're going through. And so again, that's really, I think, when it comes down to it, like, so if you're thinking about something like actionable to take away from this episode, like think about your clients and what they're doing and who their audiences are, and think about how can you build that community, because it can happen right on Instagram. Like you don't even have, I mean, if you want to do something additional like a newsletter or something, like you by all means, hey, upsell your client into that. Like Maddie and I will support you on that, but you can do it right there on Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform you're on.
I feel like everything you just said needs to go into our State of the Union for like organic social media marketing, because everything you just said, I think, is what I wish I could put on blast to big corporations, or again, even to send to like past clients of ours who, not even just past clients, just business owners in general who like clearly aren't understanding why organic social media is so important. And that is, if I had to pick one reason and one reason alone, it'd be the community and audience aspect. Because guess what, your paid marketing people, they're not the ones who are communicating or like engaging with your audience, or audience and community, again, both.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I want to leave it at that, but so
I
important.
I do want to piggyback on that because
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about like organic marketing.
I
Here we
love this.
go.
We are on
Gloves
fire.
are
We
on.
are on fire today. We are on fire today. Okay.
This is okay. This is so funny. Side note, we're recording this like first thing in the morning, and I feel I don't. That's not true. We did this sensory marketing episode later in the day, and I felt like I was on fire for that episode too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe there's a pattern, but maybe it's specific topics. But we talk
Yeah.
about organic marketing and how most people and clients don't understand the value of it. Small businesses, medium businesses, big corporations. But one thing, and this is a conversation that I've been having with Ryan over the past couple of weeks, because I've just been noodling on a lot of things that have been happening kind of internally in our business. And I think I've expressed this on a past episode, but clients feel like they can market their business. They can market their product, they can market their service. We are in an industry that it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. Anyone can do it. But anyone can enter into it. So anyone can enter into marketing. Like they can come into marketing, which I think is so great. I think that's why our community is so big, and like you can make a lot of money online like that. Don't want to downplay that. But and I think we were just talking about this yesterday, Maddie, on like on a one-on-one call, but like you people are reading the same books we're reading. They're listening to the same marketing podcasts we're reading. They're consuming this content on Google and blogs and newsletters. They're talking to ChatGPT about all these things, okay? But other industries are not seeing that because it has not been made so self-service like organic social media, like Instagram. Anyone can post on Instagram. Our clients probably have personal Instagrams, personal Facebooks, personal TikToks. Granted, we all know that's not the same thing, but they don't know that. They don't see that difference. And so I think what's so important is the audience and the community aspect is so important, understanding it and relaying that to clients because they're probably paying a media buyer to run ads for them. Like if you do just organic, maybe they have an ads person. Maybe they have someone writing their emails. Maybe they have someone doing something more like working on their website copy or website development. I don't know. Maybe they have someone working on like Google. Now, granted, Google, you can use tools, you can find what people are searching for, but organic social media marketers, like we're having the conversations. We're hearing what people are saying to us directly in a comment, in a DM. We're seeing what our audience or community members are posting on competitors. We're seeing what other big brands are getting comments wise, what's happening on their channels. And this is all really important things to share to that media buyers, to the person running the ads, because then they know, okay, wait a minute. That's the difference between a good ad and a bad ad. It has nothing to do with, I mean, granted, audience and targeting is so important and budget and everything, but like the most important thing is the ad creative and the message. Because guess what? If it's a bad message and it lands on someone's feed who doesn't care, swipe. Next, don't care. But if it lands on someone's feed who's in your community and they're like, holy crap, I've had that thought, or I deal with this, or I struggle with this, or yes, that's the results I need, like add to cart. Like nothing in between. Add to cart, follow, like that. Again, I hope what I'm saying sounds simple, like to us to be able to do, but like it's so important to like have that and relay that to the other marketing team. Or if there is no marketing team, maybe you step into that role. And now here, this is where you can be even more successful because you can pitch them newsletters, you could pitch them paid ads, you could pitch them something. And that's, you already know because you have that like ammunition from organic social, and like holy crap, I'm like goosebumps because I'm like, you're gonna
I
make money.
no, literally. Okay, Jess, I seriously have goosebumps as well because you know what you just said earlier, where it's like you are your ideal client or audience, but just at an earlier time. I have
Yeah.
chills because I'm listening to both of us talk right now, and what we're saying is something I know that you and I both needed to hear like 2 years ago when I think
Yeah.
this year, Jessica and I both have just said we're just honestly done with the BS and like being walked over by client. Like we know our stuff. We know our stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of us because I hope this is going to land in the right ears because
Mm-hmm.
just know that what we're saying right now, it's almost like epiphanies for ourselves, I feel like, because this
Yeah.
is I think check this was the universe being like, you've learned your lesson, okay, now go share it with
Mhm.
the world, go share it with the other social media managers who need to hear it,
Yeah.
because these are the conversations that we have had with past clients. And what you just said, let me give the audience context too of what I said on our one-on-one. Brennan has a book club at work. Again, Brennan, CPA, accountant, right? They're reading this book. It's a business book, and it's called The Trusted Advisor. I've not read it. If anybody's read it and wants to tap in, let us know their thoughts and opinions. Please do. But he, again, love this man because he knows he's married to a social media manager, marketer. And there was this section of the book that dealt with a very, very small section that dealt with social media. And Brennan even knew too that what the book was saying, he's like, ooh, like it was one of those things he knew his wife would be like, excuse me, what? And basically this small section of the book said how, actually, I'm going to read it real quick. I know we're like wrapping up, but I want to read
no,
it because
this is a good closing. Yeah.
Okay. So it said, we suspect this is so again, this is just a section. Like it was literally just titled social media. So they're just big picture to these people. Okay. We suspect this is in part due to social media accounts largely being run by narrowly technical people who understand the technology, including SEO and conversion rates, but who are only loosely connected to the business's overall goals and strategies. The solution lies with those who run the business coming to understand that the insincerity inherent in such a mechanistic view of social media. It upset me because to me, how I read it was basically saying social media people don't understand business. And you tell me, Jess, if like you kind of interpreted it that way too, but just that's how I interpreted it, because in my head, I'm thinking, no. It's quite the opposite, because your social media marketers, actually, we want to know the business numbers because we know we need to see the full picture in order to truly help you understand the small picture and your views already on social media. And what you just said, where again, a lot of business owners, the older generations like Gen X, boomers, they have their personal accounts, so they think that how they view social media is anybody can do it. Because I just posted a status to Facebook, I just posted a reel. Now, is the reel like cute? No, no. Somebody should cut them off. Their grandchildren should probably tell them no. But yeah.
No, that was good. I think that was such a good way to like wrap up kind of like all of our thoughts that we've had, like obviously in this episode, but just kind of like in the past weeks. It feels like we're kind of coming to a close, and we're like, okay, we're learning from it, we're moving on. And I like that we're able to like do this in real time. Hopefully that it's like, okay, it is like I always feel like we're always God, I'm bringing it back to evolving. We have to stop recording this because I'm gonna have like a million epiphanies. But like I always feel like I'm always evolving and like what I'm learning and how I'm marketing, and like, you know, that's one thing that I really wanted to focus on in 2025 for myself, was just really leaning into why I love marketing, and like getting rid of all of the other things that I don't love about it. And, you know, I think as entrepreneurs, like we can do this, like we can do what we love. It's taken me like 6 years to like figure that out, but like we've built like a very successful foundation in that time. So definitely grateful for that. But yeah, no, I think a great way to close out this episode. Anything else you'd add?
Nope, other than just let us know what you guys think of this episode. I'm convinced we need to make this a part 2 again. Like, I think this is another good cut to the chase. Maybe Harmony can cut this part out, or you can listen to us like strategizing real time. But if so, like, let us know. We want to know what you think of these new cut to the chase episodes, and be sure to catch us on the airwaves next week.
Hey friend, here's the thing. Posting DM me for details is not a sales strategy. If you're tired of crickets in your inbox and thinking about it responses, my 5-day sales series challenge is exactly what you need. 5 days, real strategies, and actual results. This series is here to help you find dream clients, the ones who actually value your work, show you how to sell without sounding like a cheesy infomercial, teach you how to create systems that do the heavy lifting for you. Save 20% off your series ticket with code MANAGED. That's MANAGED. Join now at #managed.com/sales and start selling like you mean it. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you made it this far, I think we've officially become internet besties. You can always call into the #hotline and say hello, leave a review, or ask your burning questions.
Make sure you follow, rate, and review the podcast wherever you're listening from. Subscribe to the Social Club newsletter for our weekly email, and shoot us a DM over at #managed on Instagram, letting us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode.